one confrontation after other against the system.
You have to understand that the MOVE organization had challenged the authority and the jurisdiction of every courtroom that any MOVE member ever stepped in, and they challenged it vigorously, and they challenged it from the outset, so that the power of the court to hear their case, whatever case there might have been, was always challenged by MOVE, that you don't have authority, you don't have the power to hear this case. And it was really a very powerful challenge to the power of the state inside the courtroom.
MOVE never let the threat of being arrested stop their demonstrations. Yet events soon proved that police harassment wasn't limited to just demonstrations.
So on our way, they stopped us and just started harassing us, and they grabbed us both. Both of us were pregnant, obviously pregnant, and they grabbed us and slammed us against the paddy wagon and arrested us, put us in handcuffs, and took us to the station. Well, while we was getting arrested, we was telling, they was like trying to break our arms, really messing us up. So they handcuffed us, put us in a paddy wagon, and took us to the district, I think it was 55th and Pine district. Anyway, when they got us there, they handcuffed us to wooden chairs, knowing that me and Lee-Sing were pregnant. They wouldn't let us go to the bathroom, wouldn't let us make phone calls, and didn't give us anything to eat. As a result of that, both of us suffered miscarriages.
On March 28, 1976, 7 jailed MOVE members were released from jail late in the evening.
Some of our family was being released from prison, and as usual, we greet them, and it was like 2 in the morning, and it was just us out, and it wasn't really loud. It was just family greeting family, and all of a sudden these cop cars pull up with no lights, no nothing. They just pull up on the street, and the cop car stops in front of the house. The cop comes over, and he says that he had a report that there was a disturbance, a fight going on. So Chucky told him that there's no fight, it's just MOVE people. We're greeting our family home from prison, so, go ahead, it's no problem. When he said that, they all come out the car and rush over the street where we're at, and they just start swinging their blackjacks. I was standing in front of my husband, Phil, Africa, and the cop, to get the Phil, he just took me and slammed me on the ground. I had my 3-week-old son in my arms, and when he slammed me down, he just stomped over me to get the Phil, and I don't know how, but the baby's head was crushed, and I just was so upset. I jumped up and I ran back in the house. I must have went in shock because my family just found me in the house holding the baby, and the baby had died.
MOVE immediately contacted the media to report the death of Life Africa and displayed a police hat and broken nightstick outside of their headquarters. To prove the death to a skeptical media, MOVE invited press and politicians over to their headquarters to show them the body of Life Africa.
Then I was invited on one Friday evening, a cold, blustery winter evening, when they invited people in to see the dead baby, and I actually sat in front of the house for an hour, debating on whether I would go in or not. And in the end, I opted not to go. But no, I didn't see the assault itself, but I did talk to people who did see it, eyewitnesses other than MOVE. And they did say that there was a MOVE woman with a baby who was, wailing on the police, just like the police was wailing on them. And they did see the baby knocked down, and they did see a police officer step on it.
MOVE then brought the case to court, where many neighbors were willing to testify that they witnessed the attack on MOVE and the death of Life Africa. But before all the testimony could be heard, Judge Myrna Marshall dismissed the case.
Because, MOVE did not go, they did their own birth in-house, and they didn't register their children with the authorities. And then they ordered MOVE to produce the corpse of the kid such that they could do an autopsy to determine the cause of death. And MOVE contended that that type of an act was in variance and actually in violation of their religious practices. They didn't go in for autopsies. So because, the bottom line is because MOVE did not produce the baby, the city refused to do an investigation, and that's both the police department and the district attorney's office, who at the time was headed by Ed Rendell.
After the death of Life Africa, MOVE was convinced the city was trying to terminate MOVE. The organization felt compelled to arm themselves. On May 20th, 1977, MOVE set up a platform outside the headquarters and began demonstrating. MOVE members stood on the platform, demanding the release of MOVE prisoners, and demanded an end to the violent city campaign of harassment against MOVE. Due to the demonstration on May 20th, 1977, Judge Lynn Abraham issued warrants for 11 MOVE members on charges of riot and possession of an instrument of crime.
And finally, we just decided as an organization to take a position on that platform and let these people know that if they came at us with whatever, with fists, with clubs, with guns, whatever, then we would meet them on equal terms. And that's how the confrontation started.
Rizzo filed in court to set up a starvation blockade around MOVE headquarters. The courts approved his request. On March 16, 1978, hundreds of cops set up barricades around MOVE headquarters and shut off their water to starve MOVE out. On April 4, 1978, thousands marched around City Hall in protest of the city's actions.
What MOVE wanted was to be left alone. They wanted the right to exercise their First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights. And they had 5 or 6 of their members that were in prison. They wanted those folks released from prison. And the negotiations went on and back and forth for almost a year. The city wanted MOVE to vacate.
During the time the arrest warrants for MOVE were given in 1977 up until almost a year later, many negotiators tried to resolve the problem between MOVE and the city.
Some people who I was told were Quakers or something had offered them some land out in Chester County. So I asked John Africa, why wouldn't they move out there, you know? And his answer was, why don't the city move? And they said, that's crazy. I said, but that's his answer. Why is this crazy? He's here, and he's satisfied where he is, you know, and that's what he said. Why don't the city move?
Finally, MOVE was met with an offer they couldn't refuse. All MOVE prisoners were released on May 8th, and the city agreed to drop all charges that faced MOVE. In the agreement, the city was allowed to search MOVE headquarters for weapons and explosives. While searching MOVE headquarters, the city only found inoperable weapons, dummy firearms, and road flares. After the city realized that MOVE had no real firearms, MOVE claimed that the